Hello, welcome to another episode of Ouch My Money. I am Denise and I have with me. I can see my fats trembling. Hello, Junho. Why do you
Hi.
just swallow?
Huh? I didn't swallow anything.
I don't
You
know, I saw
swallow?
you just before the camera came on. I
Okay.
was like,
No, I didn't swallow anything.
were you drinking something? Are you
I
drinking
was
something
thinking of getting myself a cup of coffee, but then I think I'll get too hyper and then we'll be
It's
yelling
too
at each
late
other.
now. It's too late now.
Yeah, so
But it's 9 o'clock. What? If you drink coffee later, you cannot sleep.
I can sleep with
Hello,
coffee.
Douglas. Oh, wow, you're those
Yeah.
kind.
Oh shit! I
Hi.
forgot to change myself to a coffee boy.
You must be BOI some more. You know, B, then the zero, then the I. The very old school kind. Small
Yeah.
B, a zero, and an I. Okay. I shall not knock and then see whether Rachel comes on.
Of
So
course, I'm
horrible.
controlling it. I'll just let myself in.
I know. I was like, hey, if I don't knock, then when will she realize I'm not knocking, then she will just come in by herself. So horrible, right?
Yeah.
Okay, just now. Okay, for our viewers, hi. Thanks for joining us today on Ouch My Money. And today we are going to talk about one of the hottest topics, actually, no, the hottest topic in the entire world right now, which is Ukraine
not
and
COVID
us. COVID is already over.
2 years
Over
already
liao.
still COVID.
It's not
Aiyo.
trendy anymore liao. Now it's only
It's
trendy if you're
20.
positive.
But it's 22.
22, yes. Why? What's up with that?
Hi, Tred Nguyen. Nice to see you.
Okay, anyway, for COVID it's only trending now if you're positive. That's all.
Oh, I
It's
see all these quotes on Facebook about I'm positive that I'm going to be positive. So they are using all the
Yeah,
word
they are doing
association.
memes lah. They're doing memes lah. But of course, today we're going to talk about a little bit a topic that is definitely not COVID related. Like as if the world does not have enough to deal with already with COVID and every other shitty thing out there. There must be something else now that's man-made and happening right now, which is our dear other countries, Ukraine and Russia, and what's going on, etc., etc. Take it away, Chunho. I don't know.
What the hell is
Suddenly,
what?
suddenly I just take it away. Then Chunho's like, what? Take what away?
Arrow. That's like, so sad.
No, not
Okay.
No, so
arrow
okay,
lah.
so okay, wait. Pause. Done. Okay, so I think we are going to we are doing this remote coverage. Okay, it's not remote coverage. It's local
It's not
coverage. about a
coverage at
remote-
all. I used to say that.
Okay. No, coverage by us. Okay, our commentary, our reaction, our whatever
Our
you call it.
comments about what's
Our
going on.
commentary. Okay, so we're doing this commentary about this seemingly remote event, or it seems that everybody thinks that it's so remote because there are a lot of people that I talk to seem to think that Ukraine is so far away, Russia is so far away, they are at war, and it doesn't really impact us.
Yeah,
It
that I
will,
can
it
hide in
will.
my small little corner at
will.
home, don't go
I
out
need to-
and not impacted.
Yeah, it's like and it's like they're not good. The bombs are not going to reach us, and everything else in between. So there is a general sense, I feel, of lack of concern. Okay, lack of concern about these remote events. Okay, about a country being invaded by another country, and it feels like for a lot of people that they're just watching a movie, and this movie at some point in time will be over, and then we'll just happily continue living life as if nothing has happened. Okay, when actually in fact the ripple effects are not yet felt. Okay, and they are okay. There are a lot of consequences. Okay, and here's where I pass it over to Chunho.
Of course, there are a lot of
Still arrowing in. Yeah, the
consequences.
Okay,
ripple
I need to say
Okay, so I needed
in the
I needed
current
to create a
world,
context. I needed to
Okay,
create a context.
I
Okay,
know,
for why
I
we
fine,
know
do
really,
you
Douglas.
mean.
Let me take it from here. Okay, I got to say,
Okay.
for those people, I think a lot of people on the ground, not on the ground, I mean, a lot of people on the street and all those stuff, and think that there's nothing big deal. And I know some of the parents were so happy. They said in Singapore, especially, they talk about, oh, there's no more mid-year exam in 2023 onwards. Yeah. It's like, that one still next year, but this Ukraine is going to hit all of us like mad first.
Yeah, so next year may not
Already-
happen.
That whole
Yeah,
next
we may
year,
not get to
wait
next
how long?
year.
You rejoice that one. You better think about this Ukraine war. You better start talking about your children about Ukraine, because
No, all
everybody
these
is going to be
people
affected.
like so small-minded, right? But we are in a world where we are so connected now, whether it's in terms of economy, whether it's in terms of internet, metaverse, whatever. I mean, we are covering all these topics all the time. We are so connected now. How can it not affect us? It's just not possible.
Let me just basically say
谢谢
something
魏
very
春厚。
Hi, can you hear me? How come I became
Okay.
can.
Carry on,
I'm
carry on,
just
carry on.
interrupting you, that's all.
The first thing that happened is you have to recognize Russia is an oil producer. Okay, you know the OPEC, the oil productions economic, the OPEC countries. Now they call it OPEC plus, and the plus is because they included Russia. So they actually had a deal with Russia to limit the amount of oil productions. And now that Russia is in the war, and we know that the rest of the world, as in we saying, is that this is a total invasion of Ukraine, and is uncalled for. And that's why a lot of us actually felt that we can't just let Russia just invade for no reason. So people are sanctioning Russia, and people are having embargo, and those will affect Russia as an oil producer, and oil may be interrupted. And because if there's an oil embargo, and so far US is going alone to embargo all the Russian oil, it will affect the oil prices. And the moment the war started, oil prices really start shooting up. And some of you may say, oh, oil price, nothing to do with me. I don't drive, I don't do this, I don't use oil. Yeah, I'm not talking about cooking oil, but the thing is that oil affects all of us. I learned this when I was very young from my mom. My mom actually taught me this in the late 70s, in the early 80s. She told me because during the Iran-Iraq war, during that time, oil prices went up like crazy, and she was mumbling, she read the news, oh no, things are going to go expensive again. And I said, why? Why will things get expensive when these oil countries start a war? Then she explained to me, firstly, we use oil for a lot of things. Transportation, all the factories use oil. I mean, different portion of the oil, and electricity also are also generated using oil. I mean, even if it's gas, a lot of the power generators are now using gas. But at the same time, Russia is a major gas producer. So they all depend on this. Now, if oil prices go up, gas prices go up, electricity price will go up, transportation price cost will go up, factory costs will go up. All these things, once they go up, they will indirectly affect us, because machineries run on oil. So the cost of productions for all these businesses that's going to generate or produce products is going to go up. You think Singapore grow our own enough what do you call it, food in our backyard? We don't. We import a lot of stuff. Import from Malaysia. We import from all over the world, and this requires transportation to bring it in, which means there's oil required to bring them in. And if oil prices go up, the cost of this coming in is going to go up. So food products is going to go up. No, if you haven't noticed, you go to the supermarket, you see all the prices have already gone up. You go to the hawker center, you go and have a cup of coffee. Coffee prices have already gone up. That was before the war, and they rose it because of the pandemic and because of the supply disruption. It is about time to go up. Okay, a lot of the business in Singapore and retailers, as well as hawkers, have actually absorbed some of this cost for the pandemic, because for the good of everybody. But now that things are looking to go back to normal, they have started to raise prices. And now if the war continue, and if the war is prolonged, eventually they'll continue to raise price as well, because they can't be absorbing the cost for so long. They have to pass the cost to the consumer, and eventually we will see that. Plus electricity, I tell you, electricity, the next quarter is coming, definitely go up one. If you go out the pump prices, petrol kiosks, you already seen the oil prices have really gone up. If oil prices go up, eventually all the public transport cost is going to go up. All your food delivery price will eventually have to go up. You think the delivery will have same cost with the oil prices so high? You wait long.
That's true.
So all these things.
Yeah, so I was so usually so Chun Ho came from the oil and gas industry, and we talked about this before when oil prices was fluctuating and how it ripples down to the pump that's what you call them, right? Chun Ho, pump prices, the petrol that we fill. And usually there is a lag between the fluctuation of the oil prices and then ripple down to the pump prices. There is a lag, okay, which can be it's some time now. Okay, it's not immediate. Because I used to ask Chun-Ho, when the price of oil dropped, then I was asking, hey, but how come our pump prices are not going down so much? Okay. But now yesterday, so 2 days ago, I pump petrol. Okay, usually it's 260 something, I think. Then 2 days ago, I pumped petrol. It was 270 something per liter. Okay, today, so 2 days ago, today it has exceeded $3. So this is the 95, 5,000, whatever, the middle one, the middle band. So it has gone up 10% at the retail level. Okay, and so like Chun Ho was saying, everyone, okay, so you know now we have so much, so we order so many things online, and there's so many things that's being, when COVID happened, everything went online, and then the whole logistics industry boomed because of all the ordering of the deliveries that we were getting from all the online orders. So now imagine, okay, your $1 become however much. Okay, so even from that supply chain perspective, in a very, very simple way, okay, anyone who's importing stuff, and that's most of us, and that's Singapore too, okay, is going to, from the transportation alone, there's going to be a price increase. Okay, and everybody is saying, oh, it's not going to impact us. Okay, just wait. Okay, just wait. Okay, the ripple effect, the lag is just like that already.
Yeah, and let me just say the other things that's very immediate. Russia just seized the biggest nuclear plant in Europe, which is actually sitting in Ukraine. And Ukraine's, before they let Russia seize it, they safely shut it down. The moment that nuclear plant is shut down, which means it's not generating electricity. The moment it's not generating electricity, everybody in Ukraine or even ripple down to the rest of Europe have to generate electricity from something else. And so the demand for oil and gas will go up. And if the oil and gas demand keeps going up because some other way of generating electricity is being shut down, they will have to pull from somewhere. But OPEC Plus is not going to increase oil supply. They said, no, we are going to keep it the same. And so they're willingly, happily let the oil prices go up. So the demand now is more than supply, because OPEC Plus is having a tight control on the on the supply of it. So oil prices is definitely going to go up. Cannot run away.
So what that means for us is everything that around us is the prices are going to go up. What does that mean for us? Does that mean that we should start hoarding? Oh my God, that word came up.
Yeah, I don't think you need to hoard. Prices are just going to go up. You hoard now, hoping that next month the prices, which you hoard the cheaper price now, so that next month you don't have to buy the expensive stuff. Is it you're thinking of that? How much can you put in your fridge anyway?
Yeah, lor.
How much can you put in your fridge? Your fridge is always, unless you go and buy another fridge, and more electricity, then more cost anyway. So you just have to deal with the inflation. The thing is that the inflation is coming. The cost rise is going to come. I just want to explain some more things that's happening. Wheat prices have gone up like mad, okay? Because I think it has gone up more than 50%, because Ukraine is a major wheat producer. Okay, India is now trying to step up to plug the gap, but I don't think India can plug the gap. So wheat prices have gone up a lot, and wheat is used for many, many things to produce food. So with a shortage of wheat, a lot of other food price, have to use, a lot of people will change to other food to eat, and then they'll drive up the cost of other food as well, because there's not enough wheat to make bread and all those stuff, and actually
And bread is such a basic staple, you know, that
Yeah.
that feeds everyone.
it's not just in the West, the whole world.
Yeah.
So its prices is going to rise, and more importantly, Russia is a major producer of nickel. Yeah, you're like nickel only. What's that do with us? But do you know
It's all
that
the tech
nickel
stuff.
is used in a lot of batteries?
Mm.
Nickel is used in a lot of stuff. It's used in batteries. And now that everybody is, because of climate change and climate action, everybody is moving to electric car. The cost of electric car is going to go up. On top of electricity going up, cost of electric cars is going to go up. Cost of battery is going to go up. Everything will just will just be impacted. Russia is also a major supplier of a lot of other metals, and one of them is palladium. And I don't know about platinum, but I know palladium is a major. They are also a major supplier of palladium, and palladium is a catalyst that's used in some chemical plants. So the palladium cost is going up, and if that happens, and nickel is also used in certain catalysts as well, nickel and palladium is going up, and as a result, a lot of industry that use nickel and palladium, their cost is going to go up. So not just their electricity cost is going to go up, or not just their oil prices is going to go up, the material that they use to help produce stuff is going to go up. So their raw material are all going up. So eventually it will filter down to us, because they cannot produce it and then sell it at the same price. They can't keep absorbing the cost. So eventually the consumer will have to absorb it. And it will come. There will be a lag, but it will come. So it depends on how long this war will last. If it's going to end, if it started off and then in a few days it ended, then we probably won't see the ripple effect, because the businesses may do certain stuff to try and absorb it. But if it's going to be prolonged to weeks, we will see it. But I think at the moment we're already seeing bits and pieces of it already in terms of electricity and oil, and it will keep coming. So everybody who think that nothing's going to happen to me, it's just there, I'm really not sure. Okay, plus all the refugees from Ukraine moving all the way to Europe. Oh, where are they going to stay? The countries that receiving them need to house them. They need to house them. I mean, there are some businesses that are doing well. They actually open up their offices, and Airbnb is actually open up, making some of the accommodation free for them to house them and all those stuff. So, but whatever it is, the businesses are absorbing this cost for now. But if it is prolonged and this goes on, all those businesses cannot keep absorbing the cost. So eventually it will filter down to us. So it depends on how long the war goes. So even though it's there, we cannot think that, it's just there only. It doesn't affect us. But you cannot say that, these people don't. I really don't know why they need to do the war. But since the war started, it has happened. The inflation will come. The increase in cost will come. So let me pause for a while. If there are any things you want to add.
Okay, so I think indirectly as well, because of the disruption, okay, there are also ripple effects across to other areas like currency. When the banking system is disrupted because the banks are boycotting or shutting down and all that, it affects. So it creates an imbalance. And just this week, so what happened was this: we were doing some business with the Vietnamese, and so that there were some funds that was being transferred. Okay, not a lot of money. Okay, few $1,000. But what happened was, there was a pre-agreed transaction price, and then there were funds that were supposed to be transferred into Singapore, and then in between, the conflict started, and so it was about $10,000. Okay, so I'm going to use $10,000. Of this $10,000, about $2,000 was lost because of the change in the currency. So it's just gone. It's just gone like that.
Wow, that's
Wiped
20%. That's a
Yeah,
lot.
it is. So
It
it's
is.
just and there
Because-
was nothing that anyone can do. It's nobody's fault because it was all pre-agreed, and then just because of the currency exchange, we lost money to the currency because of the currency.
Yeah, I mean, for the people that is the Russians, I think them poor thing, the Russians, because of their leader who is doing this, their currency, the ruble is it? How to pronounce it? Yeah,
Ruble.
Ruble, ruble.
ruble. They collapsed. Actually, fell like a rock. Initially, one day it fell 20%, then it fell further and further. It's just the currency just keep falling. It's really become worthless. And people are just like, if I'm in the country, if I'm a Russian holding on to my money, it's like in one day it just lost 20%. And as the day go by, it just keep losing and losing. It's like the money just become more and more worthless. So a lot of people are just quickly go and buy things first before the days end, because they don't know how much it will be valued at tomorrow. And it's very poor thing for them. And then they earn all those money, and then suddenly it just become worthless.
Won't it come back up though? As in like after hopefully when everything is over, as in like
When everything is over, is how many years later? Because the sanction when
Yeah.
it hits, it's not.
So
it
we
will
don't know.
stay.
Yeah.
It's going to stay. If I'm going to if I'm going to punish you, I'm going to make sure you learn. I said it's not like, oh, okay, I withdraw. Then after that, what?
Yeah.
You can't.
So it doesn't revert. It doesn't just revert to previous state. Okay, and so the question, if we ask the question, what will end this war? Okay, and that's a very difficult question to answer, because is Putin going to back down at the current moment? Okay, okay, so we talk about integrity, right? And how people will do things because they're in integrity with their actions, because of where they are, whatever is going on for them. So for Putin to be able to start the war, okay, there is something that he believes in the rightness of that action that he's taking. Okay, that then creates a result. Okay, of course, as a consequence. Okay, so to him, he doesn't see that he's doing anything wrong. Okay, and of course, we hear all these stories as well about how his narrative is that he's liberating Ukraine, that he's freeing the people. Okay, so and we've also we also talk about this, that everybody is a hero in their own story. Okay, we talked about this earlier as well. So is Putin going to say that he's wrong and say, I'm so sorry that I started the war. Let me stop the war now and make things okay. Is that going to happen? So the question is that going to happen? Okay, if that's not going to happen, then what needs to happen for the war to stop? And right now, there are people who are sitting on the sidelines watching. There are people who can't be, countries who can't be involved. So it's complex. It's complicated. As far as relationships are concerned, this falls into the it's complicated category. Okay, so we don't know. Okay, we don't know how long this is going to last, and somebody might be crazy enough. Okay, then there of course there are all these justifications about pointing missiles at each other and all that, and it just takes one crazy person to press a button, and guess what? That's the end for the rest of us too. So the question to ask, what is going to stop this war now? And we don't have an answer to that. Okay, I don't have an answer to that. I have no idea. I actually have no idea, because it is so complicated.
So at the moment, the West, well, I call them the West because Europe and US, they are trying to use sanction via the economical way, to starve Russia until they suffer financially, that they will back down. They're using that means because the reason is that they don't want to get physically involved, militarily involved, because if they get involved militarily, they are going to start a major conflict. Because if suddenly Germany or US or UK suddenly comes in and start shooting, going into Ukraine and start firing at the soldiers, the Russian soldiers, the Russian can just say, "Oh no, oh no, these other countries come in and they're declaring war on me."
Mm.
So then Russia can take this as an excuse to start firing back, send missiles into Germany, send missile into UK, send missile into US. Maybe they don't have that long range enough missile. They can send fighter jets into this because war has been declared on them. They cannot allow them to just kill their soldiers that way. So they will go in and they will go all the countries to fight, and then they will
They will
draw
retaliate lah. They will
and then it will be
retaliate
a
lah,
big
for sure.
mess. And it will be a big mess. And when many countries starts getting involved with World War III, and when World War III starts, and there's a major conflict around with some of this major economic power, all of us will feel it. And when the less well-developed countries start feeling it, they themselves may start a war among themselves because they need to eat. So it will filter, and when bits and pieces of the world are in a mess already, what's stopping the rest, another part of the world to create another mess? It doesn't. When there's chaos just spread.
You know, we
So-
don't even need for that physical war to start. They think that doing these economic sanctions and embargoes and all that can starve Russia, right? Like Juno was saying, but it bounces back to us because we also depend on Russia, Ukraine for stuff. And if that supply of those things like Juno was talking about earlier gets cut off, then the rest
Well-
of us also.
Well, then we have to learn. The other way is to learn and is to change the ways of doing things. I mean, if wheat is no longer enough, we have to just eat something else. Or if nickel is not enough, we just have to produce battery using something else. We just have to make do with something else, and it's possible. It is possible.
But it's
But
the
it takes
same.
time.
Yeah, and isn't it the same ripple effect? When we use that something else, the demand goes up, and then the price goes up, and then everything is still everything rises at the same
It
time.
will, in the short term, it will. In the near term, it will. But we need to start moving. So immediately we know start. So when there's a crisis and there's an impact like this, and I mean, I'm going to say in general, when there's a crisis like this, we need to start thinking differently and doing things differently. We cannot just continue doing the same thing again, because we are not going to reach there. So we need to think of something else. It's like now Germany, there's like, okay, fine, we go to some of the nuclear plant that they actually plan to shut down. They said no, we're going to not shut them down. We're going to extend their life and going to start using them, and then they're going to start moving to more renewable energies, start developing them already, and they're speeding it up because they are too heavily dependent on Russia for gas. And now that they have shown Russia that they're dependent so much, of course, Russia now have a handle on them. But so the moment there's no security in a way, they didn't have energy security in a way. Okay, there's a difference between energy independence and energy security. Energy independence means I have my own energy internally, and so I don't have to be dependent on other people. But your own internal energy will run out also, because if you generate from your internally, there's only so much you can do. But what they lack was energy security, because they only take the majority of from Russia. They don't have alternate supplies. And that's why, you know what, in Singapore, because we know we take majority of the water from Malaysia, we always felt we didn't have water security. And that's why Singapore developed all sorts of ways to generate water, from new water to recycle water to all sorts of ways, so that chunk of water, so that in the event of any issue with that pipeline of water coming to us from Malaysia is cut off, we still have other sources. We won't die. We can survive for at least some time. Now, Germany or Europe is finding themselves in a situation when if the Russians going to cut off their energy supply, half of Europe probably going to have to be the blackout. That's that situation that they don't have energy security. So in a situation like this, when there's a crisis or when things are getting expensive, I think we need to learn from companies as individual like us. We need to learn from companies. When there is a downturn and there's a crisis, the companies always do two things. What are the two things?
Reduce costs,
Cut costs, and the other thing is,
increase efficiency.
yeah, all companies that at least the companies that I was working with the last time, the first thing that companies do whenever there's a downturn, when there's a crisis, is they cut costs. And cut costs doesn't really mean retrenching. Okay, sometimes they will avoid laying off people. They'll try to cut other ways, cut costs in many other ways. Retrenching people is a horrible way of cutting costs. It's a fast way of cutting costs, but it's a horrible way of cutting costs because you're losing talents. You will eventually lose experience and talent. So they will avoid doing that. They'll try to cut other means first until they cannot tahan. Then they cannot handle. Then they will retrench. But the first thing they do is to cut costs. And once you have cut costs already, it's usually still not enough. You have to increase your efficiency, you can increase your productivity. And therefore, for us, with inflation coming and with costs going to be coming, impacting us, the first thing we need to look at is to look at ways of reducing our costs. Even utility, is there ways that we don't have a certain utility that we don't need, we don't spend on it? Can we change to other suppliers? Look at ways to cut costs. I think a lot of people just, I don't know. I mean, like water and electricity prices are going to go up, and then you cannot use them the same way that you used to use. And you can really think twice about the amount of electricity they're going to use. Think twice about just driving your car like suka go anywhere. So you have to rethink about all these things. And then, but you just cutting costs is not enough. You need to increase your efficiency. But the thing is, most of us only have 24 hours in a day, and then we still have to sleep. You cannot increase your time to do more things. So the only way is to, how can you do more things and generate income within the same amount of time? So it's income efficiency. How can you generate more income within the same time frame?
Yeah, so the thing is, whilst we can start these conversations about alternatives, whether it's sources of energy, sources of whatever it is, we still need to acknowledge that there's going to be lag, okay, between starting and catching up to the point where it is enough, okay, there's enough energy that replaces whatever we lose from Ukraine and Russia, that there's enough, whatever it is, okay, because Russia and Ukraine is actually supplying a lot of stuff. What I am more concerned about, okay, so we talk about cut costs and increase efficiency, right? And electricity and all that, okay, we can cut down. But we can't cut down on food. And that's the thing, because like Chuno was saying, so wheat is one of the things, okay, but there's corn, there are other basic food supplies that Russia and Ukraine actually is supplying to a very big, they're supplying a large percentage to a very big group of countries. And when that is cut off, it takes time, it takes time to grow wheat. It takes time. One season is 1 year. And suddenly you have one whole season supply of, even if you just consider one season supply of that produce, right? Then you have to wait 1 year, Then in the meantime, what do people eat? Even if we go and find another somewhere else to grow it, what do people eat? And then I was also reading another article on BBC News about Russia supplying one of the things for agriculture, okay, is fertilizers. And if this and Russia is supplying a very, very large amount of these fertilizers to the world, that then gives us the amount of food that's being supplied. So imagine if this is being cut off. The food supply is going to drop. And then it's going to take time to catch up. Then in the meantime, what do we eat? I mean, it may not be us, but what do the people who use this food supply source eat? Especially the people who are from the lower socio-economic status groups.
Yeah, but having said that, then the first thing we need to think about is not to waste food. It's not to reduce food wastage. There's plenty of food wastage in the world at the moment. Just way, way too much. And people need to start rethinking. I mean, people like us, we are not physically. A lot of people say we are so remote. And yeah, then the first thing is that, yeah, but the thing is that there's actually more than enough food to go around. Okay, so don't waste food, so that you don't take the food. Okay, let me just break it down for you. If you waste food, which means you need to have more raw material to produce those food. If it's bread, you waste bread, then we have to use more wheat to make those bread. If you don't waste food, then we need to bring in less bread, which means they have to the wheat that they use, the limited wheat that they use to produce those bread, they can go to somebody else that can feed somebody else. So there's a ripple effect. So as individual in this whole scheme of thing in the world, the first thing is to reduce wastage, because the less we consume, we just consume enough and we don't waste. We actually ripple it down to other people, so that whatever is available can be given to other people to use. So I know there's a lag, but the thing is, I still feel that we all can do something.
Yeah, it's just that we can. Then there's a lot of education because it's a lot of entrenched. I mean, right now people are still thinking that it's such a remote thing. Okay, so the first thing that needs to happen is for people to actually acknowledge that it's not a remote thing that's going to impact us, and actually start doing something now. Okay, and that there will even be a lag educating people and telling people that, hey, look, wake up already, and don't think that it's a remote thing anymore. Stop worrying about your kids' exams next year, and start thinking about the war that's happening right now. Okay, and even doing that is going to take time. And so there are, so I'm not saying it cannot be done, but I'm just saying that we need to acknowledge that there is going to be a lot of lag, and whilst the lag is happening, people are going to suffer. And I don't know. Okay, so I actually don't have a solution to that. So we can talk about this now, okay, and depend on people to spread this and be educated, and that's where it is also very, very frustrating.
I don't know, but I really
I will
don't.
breathe.
What we can do is very
mean,
limited, actually.
Yeah, no, not really. We just need to educate people and let people know that it's
No,
not
as in
really
terms
remote.
of physical action and all that, what we can do is very limited. But like you
Yeah, but-
say, it's how should I put it? You know, it's even though I feel very strongly about all those people that are dying, but at the same time, it's human nature that it's the same. I think it's the same thing as when we talk about why people people can understand retirement, but they don't actually take steps to save it, even though they know this is what needs to be done because it's not near enough. And it's the same as this case. People may understand here, but there's no urgency to it because it is not here. You get what I'm trying to say? But it's human nature to yeah.
The thing is that let me put it another way. I think people need to understand. Don't think it's remote, because if eventually things are not working, and then the West starts to take military action against Russia, it will start World War III. At the moment, I think the risk is low, the chances is really low. But if it happens, World War III is going to affect all of us. And now, if let's say that doesn't happen, but let's say Russia is successful in taking and invading and taking over Ukraine, when the aggressor gain victory, they won't stop. They will continue, and then it will continue to move, and it will continue to move. History have shown us Genghis Khan. They invaded, and then there's amassed that whole, the whole what do we call it? The kingdom of, it's not kingdom, empire. Caesar, the Roman Empire grew that way. The Japanese, when they invaded, they went into China, and then you think that also remote is so far away. It came down south. Eventually, the whole Southeast Asia was occupied.
It can reach us in the
Eventually, they
blink
will
of an
move.
eye.
So if you
So
don't
so
stop the
it's
aggressor,
about acknowledging and seeing that the whole world is actually interconnected. What
it
happens
is.
in one part of the world will eventually reach the other side.
Yeah,
as
and now
well.
we,
Yes.
given how connected we are, right, the reach is faster and faster. It's no longer
Mhm.
just physically reach us. There are many other ways we can be affected because with
Mhm.
trade and all that we are talking about, we are exchanging so many things with other countries, right? It doesn't mean that the bombs has to fall on us to have an effect on us. It will affect us in other ways in life as well.
You affect
And
our currency and
it will affect
then
everything lah, basically, because the
yeah.
whole economy of the world is tied together now. There's no, it's not standalone unless you are in some island far, far away all by yourself lah. Then that one, that one, that one separate issue. But most of us, we are tied together into the world economy in one way or another. So, well, for me, I don't know. Okay, is there anything else that we want to add to this?
I don't know. I just know that, I don't know, inflation. I mean, the cost of things are going up. I mean, the most immediate impact to people on the street, like all of us, is cost is going to increase, and there may be shortage of stuff, and we just need to recognize that, and to help ourselves and help the rest of the people who needs food and need uh, well, it is to take actions to do something. Small steps is good enough. Save costs, save food, don't waste food. um, it helps. I mean, we won't see it immediately, but it will ripple. Everything in the way is connected in the world, because the shortage somewhere is probably a supply somewhere else. Usually in the world is that way. So if we have more food somewhere, we can actually pass on the food to a place that has less. Um, yeah, and I have to say, a lot of developed countries are wasting food. Not just, I mean, we've seen the US there, but it's not just the US. It's in Singapore too, and in China as well. Food, I
I
mean,
think, yeah,
wasted.
developed country is something that it happens a lot in developed countries. The wastage of food, just wastage lah, generally,
Yeah,
of all things. Wastage of time also. So, okay. There is a comment that I would like to address, talking about arguing which side is right. It's like what Douglas commented in the comments below. In a war, it's always a lose-lose. No matter which country win, you think about it, stuff is always lost on both sides: lives, economy, infrastructure, people you care about. I have friends who tell me that we were talking about this now, when it first happened. Then we were like, oh my god, can't believe that in this day and age there's actually a war now. And I have friends who are telling me, yeah, I was talking about people who died lah, who are going to die also. And then my friend was telling me that these are just, he say it's a bit blunt, but these are just statistics, just numbers. Then I Then I just say yes, it's true because it's so far from us. But you think about it, what if it's your mom, your sister, your girlfriend, your brother, your cousin, your friend that's dying right now? Would you still
Yeah,
think
behind
about it?
each
You
number is
wouldn't.
a person.
So it is not statistics, people. Whoever is watching this, it is not just statistics. These are people we are talking about, humans. They're just like you and me, lah, you know? So it's not as far away as we think it is.
Yeah, so the thing is, unfortunately, in the current scheme of things, there are groups of people who are pawns, PAWNS, okay,
Like
who
in
are,
the game, lah.
yeah, so it's like they place a group of soldiers there, okay, under the pretext of whatever it is. They're told a certain thing, and another group of soldiers come and see them as enemy, okay, kill this enemy, and then war starts. Okay,
Yeah.
and this first group of people are just pawns. Okay, they have absolutely no idea what happened. No, okay, except to be there to be killed so that the war can start.
They are all just pawns, lah, actually, at the end of the day. Right? They just happen to be sway enough to be born there at this time and have that job.
Yeah. So no. So I was just thinking, as Chuno was sharing just now. So, okay, then what? Yeah. So these few things. Okay, we can conserve food. We can reduce food wastage. We can be a lot more mindful about things. Okay, but those are still defensive measures, okay, to reduce cost. And it is taking care of, okay, so it is necessary, it's taking care of what we need to take care of now. But in the bigger scheme of things, so Denise, you said it, okay, it's 2022, okay, people, it's 2022, and we are still at a point where a war can happen, and people are killing each other, and these are human lives. So in a
It's
grander
2022.
scheme of things, what do we need to do? What seeds do we need to plant? I don't expect that it's going to happen overnight. Okay, the change that we want to see in the world is going to take time to happen. Okay, and the things that we're doing right now are very defensive things. Okay, to find a alternative source of energy, to whatever it is. But it boils down to humans. Okay, it boils down to humans. Stop being stupid.
Don't be stupid.
You know,
Very,
it really,
that's very
Don't be
broad and very
stupid.
general, applying to all humans and
yeah,
not
It's
all of us,
true.
all of
Don't
us,
be
all of us
stupid.
too. Okay, when will we? What do we need to do? What needs to happen? Okay, so we thought, right? We thought that COVID, being the
Will teach
global
us a
thing,
lesson, but it's not
will
enough.
teach us a lesson. Okay,
Still
when
stupid
it
people
started,
around.
this cold flu that's not going to affect the rest. It's not going to affect us because it's just this cold flu, and it's going to pass.
Because it's a
And
China
now it's
flu,
2 years
remember?
later. Now it's 2 years later. The world has been shut down and reopened. So
And
when
because
will we
and
learn
now
what?
that we reopen, one thing after the other, immediately straight away another stupid person come up. Let go. Let's make it a better
Yeah.
place.
So what needs to happen? So what needs to happen? What seeds do we need to plant right now? Okay, that will have us wake up. You know, it seems like COVID was not enough. COVID was not enough to wake us up.
Not enough apparently.
And here we
So,
go. And it's like,
Here we go again.
as this unraveled, it reminded me of early, when the start of 2020, when between Chunho, me, and Simon, we were looking at, and especially from Chunho saying that, hey, you know, it's something that we need to take seriously, and something's going to happen, and then we cancelled. Okay, we postponed the March Money and Use and the Money and Use that was supposed to happen in 3 places: Australia, Malaysia, and the US concurrently for the first time in a very, very long time. It was March 19th. I think it was March 19th. And then that was the day, March 19th was the day we officially in Singapore, I think, declared this COVID thing.
it's a pandemic.
Yeah, and so I'm just reminded of that. It feels like, oh no, here we go again, no, with this thing that's happening. It's like this small thing that shouldn't matter, right? Because it's happening in China, it shouldn't affect us. And this
No,
small
I
thing
mean,
that's happening in Ukraine and Russia right now, that it's just a fight between them, and then it shouldn't affect us.
It will.
So what do we
sooner or
need? What do
later.
we need to do? that's the question that I really I think that my invitation, I don't have the answer to that. Okay, but I think that's a question that we all need to start thinking about. What do we need to do to stop all this bullshit? Pardon my French. And to finally
That's
wake
very
up,
important. Yeah, don't be stupid. And I can't believe they are world leaders, like, you are leading a nation, don't be stupid. Don't be stupid. I don't
Well,
know, okay, I don't know.
maybe in their mind they are not stupid.
No, of
Yeah.
course that makes them more stupid than ever. Because they think they're not stupid, but actually they're stupid. But anyway, I think let's do last words. Are you doing last words now? Okay, let's do last words.
Okay, let's do last word.
Okay, Rachel, go.
Rachel last. Next.
Rachel last. Last words, Rachel last. Okay, this is not my last words. This is a prequel to my last words, so you don't have to type this. Okay, I think it's very frustrating to me personally, because as an individual, there's only so much I can do. So that is a source of frustration for me. But my last words would be, what we can do is to develop and raise our own awareness, so that we can raise the awareness of people around us, and then they can raise the awareness of people around them, so that together we will no longer be stupid. It has to start somewhere, okay?
Yeah, you always center around stupidity.
Together we will not be stupid, we will be cleverer.
I'm not stupid. Okay.
Yeah, seriously, okay, these people, last warning.
I okay, for me, I just want to say, not really my last word, but I just want to add to say that I think this war is such an unnecessary, it's totally unnecessary.
Unnecessary.
And the life loss is totally unnecessary also. And
The
all
what?
the resources, the
Lives
lives,
lost.
Oh.
那些
and
死
all
掉
the
的人
resources that's been put in there unnecessary. And I don't know why it has to happen. It's as if there's not enough people suffering in the world in some other place. I mean, those resources can be put to the less fortunate people to use. I don't know why we had to go into this and kill lives, spend resources, also unnecessarily. I just feel my last word is so unnecessary, this whole damn war. But having said that, I think people like us who are not physically there, we can't think of it as being remote and it's not affecting us. It does affect us in many ways. Okay, and it will affect. And whoever was the aggressor that is doing this needs to be stopped though, because if you always let an aggressor have his way or her way, the aggression will continue and it will spread. And then eventually it will not be remote anymore. Yeah, that's my last word.
Okay, Douglas, last
Okay.
words, go.
So the thing that I want to add, okay, it's part of my last words. So we talked about this with the Squid Game. Did we talk about the Squid Game? We didn't, right? Okay,
Yeah, we
anyway.
did.
You did.
So the Squid Game, why the Squid Game was so interesting was because there was a bunch of people put together in a challenge, and then and which were who had to make very difficult decisions about people who would die. And for a lot of us, we are glad that we are not in that situation. And one of the things that created a lot of engagement was for people to actually consider, if they were in that situation, how would they make the decisions. So in the same way, right now we are not in Ukraine, we are not in the war, but we cannot stop thinking about that in that way. Okay, or we cannot don't think about it that it's remote, like Chuno was saying. We need to imagine if we were involved directly, what would we be doing? Okay, and I think that's a very difficult question to ask as well. So I will end with this quote, okay, which just came to mind. The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil. Okay, the only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. That means we stand by and watch. Okay, those are my last words.
Okay. My last words. I don't have one. I don't know what are my last words.
It's okay.
Think,
You
Rachel.
guys can have no last words today.
Oh,
5. Oh, okay.
my
So I
last
can do, yeah. Please like, share, subscribe. Advertisement break. We will break for advertisement. Okay, your last words.
So my last words, there are things that's outside of our control at this point, but there are also things that's within our control. So my last word is to focus on things that's within our control and do everything that we can.
Do everything that we can. It's very important. So yeah, whatever we can do it. I
And that
guess.
includes telling other people to do whatever they can.
Yeah, it's true. It's the same as the raising awareness thing. Only because
Yeah.
our own awareness is raised, then we can raise other people, and then they can raise. It's like a ripple effect, right? Then this is totally not. This is totally off topic. Then I was thinking, is it because the humankind didn't learn a lesson from COVID? That's why the universe sent another lesson to us. Then I was thinking, what is the lesson? Maybe the end point for COVID was that a certain Mr. P was supposed to, but then he didn't. So now something is happening. Then maybe
Yeah, so
I
this
don't
is
know.
this is another Mack truck. So this is
Yeah.
so thanks for saying that. This is another Mack truck that's happening,
Yeah, but
not
like
to Russia and to Ukraine, but to humanity right now. Okay, and until we recognize that it's a Mack truck and do something about it, we might actually get rolled over lah and die.
Yeah, but it's so frustrating because individually there's only so much you can do. But it's like, oh my god, this is the frustrating part. Oh, Mr. P. Okay, anyway, yes, I think that concludes. That concludes today's episode of Ouch My Money. Thank you guys for staying with us and for your comments and lovely attention. So I hope that what we are saying today has gotten through to you. Really just develop and raise yourself so that together we can raise humankind. Okay. I guess that's it. We will see you guys 2 weeks later on the next episode of Ouch My Money.
Thank you for being here.